Thursday, July 7th, 2022. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss a movie by Anurag Singh called Kesari, with your host, me, Professor Joe LaRocca. That's right, it's Kesari. Okay, it stars, is it Akshay or yeah, I think I'm just going to say Akshay Kumar, and many, many other people that I did not learn their names. But there is, I'll try, you want me to try a few? There's Preeti, Prin, Parinit Chopra, who looks like an Indian Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I mean that in a good way. And then Suvinder Vicky. All right, I'll just stop. Anyway, this is about the Battle of Saragari, which is the 36th Sikh Cavalry, which was 21 soldiers, fought against 10,000 Afghans in 1897. So it's a true story that has been a bit kind of dramatized a little bit. Not that it wasn't a dramatic situation, but not 100% historic, because things get a little over the top at some points. But essentially, it's a true story, similar to things that have happened in history, like with the Spartans or with Masada, right, with the Jews, where they fought for 40 days or whatever. I don't remember everything, but throughout history, things like this have happened, where a very small group of people have defended against a huge thing. And to the point where it's happened so many times that I wonder if it's true, or if that's just like a patriotic story that nations tell during war. But that would be, I realize that even saying that is disrespectful, considering they're all probably are true, and they're all people who gave their lives for their countries and stuff. So never mind, I take that back. But this movie is phenomenal. People have been telling me to watch this one for a while. Big, beautiful, amazing cinematography, and the color palette, it's all like these yellows and oranges and light blues, and has this amazing desert aesthetic. And everybody's got the really large turbans on with these big circular loops around them that makes it's so different from every other culture's headwear. It's so big that the first 10, 20 minutes, it feels like a science fiction movie. It feels a little bit like Dune or something, because it's a little bit of it's a period piece taking place in the late 1800s. And everything it's like, oh, we're on this desert planet. It's kind of got that feel, just because, and I think the turbans that they wear look awesome. It's just so visually interesting, but for that first 20 minutes, you're like, oh, this is, I really feel like I'm watching a different culture. That's really different than the craziest, I said, most extreme headdress type stuff that you see in America. Really is I guess a Hasidic Jew or something, and that's not even that over the top or anything. But you don't see this a lot. Or I guess what you see when you see Sikhs now, they have that knot. They don't have this fucking huge ass thing. Anyway, so you see that a bunch. You see people in all sorts of head wraps and stuff. But this specific type, I have a funny feeling that they don't wear that a lot anymore. I think it was kind of an 1800s aesthetic. But anyway, it's beautiful and it's awesome, and it allows you to do the dramatic turban head adjustment, which is great. Says more than anything. You keep thinking he's going to take it off, and then he's just it's great. And I understand. I read all about the 5Ks and Sikh culture and stuff like that. I certainly don't understand all of it, but I get, there are these things. You got to keep your beard in your hair, and you got to keep your turban on. You got to have your gold ring, or, and your knife and your comb and all these different things. And so it's interesting. I found it interesting, at least. And so, yeah, what the story is that the Panthans, basically the Afghans, are trying to push into Sikh territory, which the English have sided with the Sikhs because they're trying to push their influence in. So really the Sikhs are working for the English, and that's a big part of the story, is them kind of explaining this realization that, hey, we're slaves, dude. Like we are slaves. So that's, which is a huge part of the story, which is very interesting. And so what the story focuses on is Halvadar Ishar Singh, who is amazing. Oh my God, he looks so cool. I just want to be him. I want an action figure of one of these guys. That's what I was thinking when I was like, oh, it'd be so fun. And you know what you would have to do with the action figure? The turban could not come off. That would be no turban accessory. It's just on there. And if I'm using the wrong term, in the translation they said turban. Just so you know, because I have a funny feeling that that's called something slightly different, like, but they just kind of went, blah, whatever, turban. They're all turbans, I'm sure they all have specific names and stuff. Like, how, like Arab, different Arab coverings have, all different names for the amount of coverage they cover. Anyway, tons of beautiful vistas and real world locations. Even if they're green screen on them, they went somewhere and filmed the real thing, and then they green screen them a little bit. The only special effects that don't really work, that they still haven't nailed, is explosions. And explosions are so hard to key in the explosion, have the lights and everything look right. Those are the only times where you go, oh, that looks a little bit dated. But otherwise, this could have been like a Marvel movie, you know what I mean? It's like Black Panther. I mean, it's just like a big, hundreds of people and tons of action and culture and stuff. Like, it totally could have, that doesn't hurt it at all. And so, it's a journey for, like, it's a small journey for our main character, kind of sticking to his guns. And then we get the 20 other soldiers who are, this is one of the ones where it could have even been longer. Like, sometimes I complain about movies being too long. This one's fine because it's like a hangout movie, because you get to know all the different people. Oh, there's the guy with no sense of humor, and then there's the funny guy, and there's the super serious young one, and the cook, and Lal, the second in command, and like all different things, and you get to know each one, little quirks, little things. And that leads to a few predictable moments in the climax, but it's fine. That's how you do it. You set up and you pay it off. The best movies, you don't know it's going to be a setup and payoff, but in this you go, well, that's going to come back later, but it's okay. I did predict the very last shot, which I'm very proud of, and it's one of the reasons I have a show like this, so that I can say, because halfway through my notes, so yeah, if you go on Instagram, I guess I haven't put my Instagram up in the corner again since moving it, but it's La Rocca Films. If you go to La Rocca Films, I put up every day, just like what movie I'm doing, and the second image is a picture of my notes. So if you ever want to look at my notes, they're kind of in like shorthand, and the spelling is awful and insane looking, but it'll let you know. But I highlighted this because about halfway down the page, so that's where I was only probably like a quarter of the way through the movie. I go, will be a little spoiler. I go, the last shot will be a plant growing out of the dirt. Because it's a beautiful metaphor. And if they mention something early in the movie, like, plants never grow here, I'm like, that fucking... And then when it happened, I went, yes, yes, yes. Anyway, this movie's great. It's on, I believe, Amazon Prime. Am I just wrong about everything? Okay, we got to talk about the song and dance numbers. So the first song and dance number, Ishar sees his wife a lot. Like, he imagines her, which is totally cool. At first, I'm like, this is a little cheap writing, but they work it in so well that it's like, no, it's like he's meditating or something. It's not like he actually sees her. It's just a way to show it in the movie. He's not like, he's not a crazy person. But it's like he has such a soulful connection to his wife that he can like converse with her. And they have a song, and I was like, does this need to be in this movie? This like historical action movie, does it need a romantic song? And so I was kind of like, I wrote a whole little thing about how some Indian cinema movies I just think that the music is amazing, and it puts a rocket under the story sometimes, and it deepens the relationships of characters in kind of a unique way that we don't do in the West, and I think it's awesome. But some movies I think use it better than others, like in Swades, or however you say it. I said it's Swades. But there's a weird thing. When I put these names into Google to pronounce, sometimes they don't give me the right answer. They give it to me like in English, because then I've said words that were exactly how it told me to pronounce them on Google, and then people in the comments are like, no, that's not right. And so I'm like, which I totally, I'm trying my best, but That happens a bunch. Um, but yeah, so you can see her. I was just like, I don't know if I really like that. But then the next song is with all the soldiers, and there's this guy playing the violin type instrument. What's that instrument called? The Indian violin. I'm sure that has obviously has a name. And he's playing all these beautiful sad songs, and they're like, dude, and they crowd around him at one point, and they're just like, like, give it this beat, buddy, give it this beat. And then he's like, and they do a song, and they're all fucking dancing. They're in their costumes, and I was like, no, this is great. This is so unique. I've never seen an action thriller that has a catchy dance sequence where I'm smiling and like clapping. It's awesome. It really works. And then I think there's really only one or two more songs, so it's a little bit light on them making that kind of a strange decision, but I get it. I understand how they're all tied together and how your music industry and your film industry are tied together in India. It's just different in America. They just came up like slightly separately. Although I am going to do The Girl's Gotta Have It, one of the first rock and roll jukebox musicals, which I've never seen. And it had a huge influence on the Beatles. And it just came out on Criterion, and I bought it because I just assumed I'm going to like it. But it's got Jane Mansfield in it. She got big boobs, which everybody loved. Anyway, and we're going to find out if she was a good actress or not. I don't even know. Anyway, this is great. My favorite scenes were when they went and helped the village repair for the winter. That's great, like visually, and it's a great, just like metaphor about like humanity with all their guns lined up against the wall. Some mise en scène, baby. I like drummers on the ridge. All these drummers show up on the ridge, and they're like, "Oh, we're totally fucked." And then Ishar goes up on there, and they have like a drum off, and he's just like, coolest thing. And the drummers are like, that might have been my favorite. Hey, what do you guys feel about the Arab sniper guy? Or the Panther sniper? That's a little silly, a little racist, right? To make him like super feminine and have him have like nail polish and makeup on. I don't know. I mean, I know we do this all the time in U.S. movies, but they make the bad guys a little bit more silly than they should be. We already don't like them. It's fine. Like you didn't have to give all of the Afghans like these scrappy beards that and they all have like makeup on and stuff. It's like, no, we get that they're bad. You don't need to do good. That felt a little over the top or a little theatrical. But anyway, the song that is in the climax, in the fighting climax, because there's one right before that. The one with the little girl singing is like one of the more beautiful and unique moments I've seen in a movie this year. I was just like blown away by it. So fucking just a smart, cool, like you're just starting to get a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of violence, and it's getting a little like not irritating, but you're like, yes, all right, we get it. And then this song comes in, they slow things down. I was just like, oh boy, a new rag sing. This guy's got some fucking moves, baby. Anyway, so it's a good dose of humor, but balanced with like the heroic patriotism action story. This movie's great. I really, really enjoyed it. What am I going to give it for a grade? That's a tough one. There are some flaws in it. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but I really enjoyed it and it looked great. I'm going to give it a very high B+. Now, this is a movie that if I watched again, I could see it going to an A-, but I could see it going down a notch too. I could see being like kind of taken with just the first time watching it, and then when I go back, be like, oh, maybe that wasn't as cool. But man, right off the bat, I was into this movie, and I just, sometimes I watch movies like in parts, but in this, I was just like, the whole time. That's where my screen is. Sorry, just staring at the screen the whole time. It was amazing, and one of the hardest things that we talk about on this channel is maintaining tone, because it's so hard to even define how to get to tone and what a tone even is. And every movie kind of has its own specific thing. What's so hard about it is that it's kind of the conglomeration of everything. Your editing, your acting, your makeup, your costumes, And I just think that this does a very good job of maintaining its tone, both in feel, even when it's doing kind of different feelings. It still all feels like it's the same, it's the same movie. and in visually, it also maintains that tone, which is the two things you got to do. Both what you're seeing and the unseen need to kind of stay together. Obviously, the unseen being more difficult, but holy crap. Last thing I'll say, why doesn't Disney or Marvel get one of these guys to come over and direct a big movie? Because they're just, I mean, maybe it's just because they're kicking ass over there and they don't need to come here, and this is probably even a bigger market for them. But it's really surprising that they haven't tried that, because it would open up a whole, like, all right, imagine if SS Rajamouli directed, like, the next Black Panther movie or something. It would be the highest grossing movie in the history of the world for sure. Right? You get it? It would be the first like $3 billion movie would be my guess. So that's what Hollywood should do. I don't want them to do it. I'm just saying from a business standpoint, it would be smart for them. If I were a successful Indian director, I would say, do not come to America. Keep doing your things. You're getting the budgets you need now. It's not like 10 years ago where you were having, if you wanted to do a kind of a nutty idea, it didn't seem like there was as much opportunity. But now it's just, there are big movies coming out all the time there, and the special effects and everything is caught up, so it looks perfectly fine. There's no reason there can't be a world audience for it, and there is. I'm sure this movie made tons and tons of money. It was super popular. Not super popular in the United States, though, amongst little white boys like me, but we're getting there, and I'm going to introduce them to it, one student at a time. Anyway, thank you for watching. Oh, I went super long today. Sorry, I usually don't go this long, but I had a lot to say about this. So you can like and subscribe if you like to subscribe. I'm here every day. You can be here as much as you would like, and that's pretty much it. I'm actually going to do another review later today because I'm seeing Thor, and I forgot that I was seeing Thor today at 3 o'clock. So I guess I'll do this, and then I'll do Thor later. So see you after Thor. Bye. And yes, I do know that Thor is based on an Indian character. Okay, I'm smart. Don't make fun of me. Bye.